Hello, everyone. Welcome to the October 2024 Cat Fig. In the chat, we have some good mornings and greetings. Feel free to add to the chat there. I mentioned to folks ahead of time in the meeting, I'll say it on the recording too, I had my COVID vaccine Tuesday afternoon, so I'm a little slow. So chime in, put things in the recording, put things in the chat I've forgotten. And I'm going to start with saying that the Google group email was really active this past month. So I encourage people to check it out. The information on joining our Google group and mailing list is on this page that I'm going to put in the chat. And it was talking a lot about a couple of topics I'm going to bring up here. The first, Marchive is closing. So folks that use Marchive or used Marchive for bib and auth authority processing, what do you do? What are you thinking of doing? We had a couple of options mentioned in the Google group. I remember Backstage. So anyone want to talk about that?
Well, I kind of started the thread, so yeah. Yeah, the only thing we found so far that'll do the same is Backstage. And I'm trying to remember back to conferences where I might have passed a booth or two that were also offering the service, but nothing comes to mind. Uh, so anyway, we got a quote from Backstage already, but I was just curious if anybody else is using any other similar service. Is everybody familiar with the kind of service we're talking about, where you send your bibs out to be cleaned up and beautified, and then you reload them in the catalog?
The
There's usually,
batch update.
yeah, hmm yeah. So yeah, and then we get each quarter we send a new batch of bibs. We do it quarterly, and Marchive's been sending us new authorities each month to update the authorities.
So we're also looking for a replacement for Marchive, and I believe I responded to the thread saying Baker and Taylor is offering BT Cat as they're going to, so they don't have the service, but I talked to one of their reps that says that they could get this service developed if I have a bunch of other libraries come with me to them with a letter saying, I'll pay you this if you create this product. And so depending on what we offer them, kind of thing, I guess, they'll create it. But I believe, oh, I forgot the name of the library. Cuyahoga? Is it Cuyahoga? Also asked them about it, and they know that there's interest, but right now they don't have. What they have is bib to bib right now, no batch update function. So that's not what I want.
Yeah.
But that's all I have. If anyone's interested. But I was also going to look into Backstage because I haven't heard any other service that does authority file processing or any kind of function like Marchive used to do for us.
Yeah. So yeah, so that might be it for now. Baker and Taylor, we're kind of not their favorite customer because we don't buy enough from them, and that's another factor in how much they're willing to do for you. So I'm not surprised they're asking for libraries to make a commitment, and I don't think we'd be able to do that in our case, but it might be worth the effort, especially if a large system like Cuyahoga was interested. So anyway, we kind of work under the shadow of Cuyahoga here. We're a suburb in the same county, so and I know people there. I might talk to them about it and see.
I'm forgetting who is at Cuyahoga. Could I have a name? Because I'd like to reach out to them as well to kind of verify.
Yeah, Christy Kruger.
Christy.
She's secretary of Koha-US, and she's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
There's a lot in the chat too. People talking about their experiences with Backstage or not Backstage, or who's small, who does it in-house. So yeah, let's take a look at that.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Another topic that came up was a few topics related to Z3950, bringing records in via that. And there was a discussion about Z3950 sort order of results and the presence or absence if you're using Z3950 to get OCLC records, the holdings in the 948, and the system preference, additional fields in Z3950 result. It's a very long system preference. I'll put it in the chat. And also a bug, 23887, and I'll put those in the chat. Would people like to chime in about Z3950 results?
Well, since I started that one too, I'll comment. Yeah. Yeah, so some helpful person, I think from New Zealand, solved it for me. Yeah, showed me the preference that I had never noticed. And yeah, our catalogers are very happy. They at least now can see the numbers of holdings in that field, and that's great. The ultimate thing would be to find a way to to strip it down to just the number and be able to sort by that number. But I think that's pie in the sky, you know. Sometime in the future I might try to figure that out. But if that would be useful to a lot of other sites, maybe I'd put in a bug for that and see. Oh, is there one? Oh, that's the yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 23887 is add support for client specified sort order in Z3950 responder, which is at failed QA status. About bugs, I would encourage you just to put the bug in, because that's a great way to gauge interest. There are people who monitor Bugzilla who might not necessarily be in tune with the other community channels.
Okay.
Since we're talking about Z3950, there is a list of Z3950 Koha libraries. These are libraries that have put their Z3950 information on the Koha Wiki. And it'd be awesome if everybody that allowed people to download their records, if you could add yours, that would be great. You shouldn't add from other people. You should only add yours. But if you're willing to share, fill out the form there and let everybody know.
So another topic that, I mean, if people have other thoughts on these or any other topics, chime in. But I want to put out there too, another topic that came up in our email group was getting 500 errors when trying to print ranges of barcodes. And there's a bug related to that I'm going to put in the chat. 34157, exporting labels as a barcode range can cause 500 error. And that has one sign off already. It's looking for another sign off. And it is, let's see, it's related, or there's another bug that came up in the discussion of this one. 31507, when printing barcode range labels, library name doesn't print, which is still a brand new bug, even though it's old. Its status is new. So we're particularly interested in these bugs because I like to print ranges of barcodes, and then I'm cataloging, and usually cataloging using the OCLC connection client, and I want to put a barcode number on the book and put that into my 952 field, and then import it into Koha. So I like to have the barcodes printed, and I would love to have our library name on the barcodes, but we can't quite do that the way Koha's set up yet. So that's what these bugs are about from my perspective. So does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring to the group?
Sorry, I don't have much to add to the other parts. We don't use, like, we don't print barcodes or anything. So I have nothing to contribute. But
Okay.
I just wanted to know for another topic would be if anyone's upgraded yet, and are you seeing any issues with cataloging? We do centralized cataloging, so our libraries are not able to add anything right now with permissions that are limited. So we're in a tough spot. So just it seems like it's only affecting us.
Hey, Michelle, could you elaborate? We are upgrading tonight.
Tell them no.
So
Yeah, tell them no.
what is the issue the main issue you're having?
So we limit only central staff can edit full bibs, and so we only have the permission to edit catalog, and everyone else only has add bibs.
Mm-hmm.
And since we upgraded, they can't add anything. They can't edit fast add bibs. Yeah, can't do anything. So it's a real problem that we didn't know about before we upgraded, or else we would not have. So yeah, that's the problem, is no one can do anything right now in cataloging unless we give them full cataloging, which we're not doing. So
Yeah.
that's a big problem.
We were upgraded, but I haven't tried. We were upgraded Tuesday night. I haven't tried cataloging anything, but I'm the only cataloger, so I'm the only one with permissions, and they're all the permissions. I'm also a super librarian, so I wouldn't notice the problem. Has anybody else noticed any problem like that who's upgraded?
I'm sorry, you're saying just people who have fast add, or like?
Right. Yeah. So only super librarians have the permission to catalog. And then everyone else has add bibs, and then edit items within your library group type of thing. So only two permissions. So they cannot edit the catalog if it's a default framework or any other framework besides FastAdd. And since the upgrade, now they can't edit anything. So they can't edit the FastAdd, even though that's a specific permission that says FastAdd.
This is kind of perfect then, because I'm doing a cataloging class tomorrow. And they all have those kind of permissions. So I'll have to see. Thank you for the heads up.
So yeah, there's some activity in the chat. And people are talking about this, but also talking about how there's been some problems with the wiki, and we think they're either fixed or getting fixed. People have had trouble getting an account on the wiki.
Yeah, we've had a couple of people experience that where they try to create a wiki account and then it says, the wiki says, well, sending you an email to verify your email address and to get you all registered, and the email never gets sent. And so if that happens, just go to the Koha mailing list and say, hey, I did all these steps and it didn't work. Can somebody help me? And the wiki curator will take care of that. So, or not the curator, but one of the wiki managers will be able to log in and fix that. But I believe it's working correctly now, but that's what I've had to do in the past.
Yeah, they mentioned that at KohaCon that they were working on the reliability of the wiki email system. So if you haven't done it since KohaCon, you might try again just to see if the automated system works. But I'd agree with George, like either send an email to the list or jump into Mattermost and say, I tried and it's not sending me that email.
Well, yeah, Mattermost is a good choice too. Definitely.
I'll put a link in the chat to the Mattermost. Go ahead.
I was just going to say we upgraded last night as well, and I haven't run into any major cataloging issues. We're not the same like setup as you, Michelle. So most of my libraries who do I don't have anybody that's just doing fast add. Everybody has edit items or edit records as well as fast add. So the one thing I've noticed is due to the way that the items table loads now, the change they made. So it's like using the API to generate the item table on details. Some of my customizations don't work because like the table loads after the page loads. So I had to change some things to like for our rotation books, for example, I like to gray that line out because they're not actually available for holds or anything. And that broke, so I had to change it so that it's in like an Ajax stop action. So like once the table is loaded, then it makes it gray. But other than that, I haven't seen too many issues or heard my cataloger screaming so far today. So
is that API loading that you were just talking about? Was that the thing that's supposed to fix slowness if there's bibs with a bunch of records on it?
yeah, so
items on it. Has that been better?
We don't have anything like super big. Let me just check one of my magazine records because those are the biggest ones. It does, I think it does load a lot faster because it's only loading the first 20 items. And then and then it's paginating the table, so like it's not gonna load the rest until you click the next button. So I just pulled a record up with 50 items, and that was just as fast as a record with a couple items. So I think it did help. It's just affected our customizations a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Going back to fast ads, what is the permission in the permissions table for fast ads? Because I'm searching for the word fast and not finding anything. Anyone know?
I think it
looks like
that
fast
the edit catalog.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, is there a fast catalog?
Yeah, under edit catalog, there's one
separate.
called fast_cataloging, and that's what lets you use the fast ad framework.
Okay, it wasn't expanded. That's why I couldn't find it. Thank you.
I just checked one of our records that has hundreds, many lots items, Lloyd registers. And yeah, it's loading much faster, just loading a few of the items and then there's a next, or I can say, no, please show me all the items, and it goes boom.
That the pagination and all of those table controls are handled by a JavaScript plugin called Data Tables. and I've been following a thread of the version of data tables we're using is old. And so there's talk in the community about upgrading to the newer version of data tables, and they're having some, because there's some issues with the older table. But one of the things that might be possible in the future if they add this is the ability to reorder the columns and fix column settings. Because right now you're kind of stuck with the columns the way they are. So I'll try and look for a bug for that if anybody wants to comment on it. But the idea of upgrading data tables, I think it's probably about time.
Yeah, please put the bug in the chat. I mean, I really appreciate the ability to turn columns on and off, but if I could rearrange them, that would be super.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome too. So.
Well, does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring to the group?
I have a general question about Bugzilla. Does voting really matter? I voted on a few things and I don't see a lot of other votes.
It does. The developers do see that. You probably won't get any feedback about the developers seeing that because
Okay.
you know the developers see it and go, oh, interest.
Yeah.
Another way to bring attention to a bug that you voted on that you're interested in is mention it in forums like this. Go to the Koha-US meeting, which is open to all. And at the end of every Koha-US meeting, they say, does anybody have anything else? And people generally bring up and talk about bugs. Bring it up in relevant threads on Mattermost in the Koha community chat to say, hey, I'm really interested in this. Anybody else? Comment on the bug, give the developers more information.
I just posted the link for that bug, and you know that's why I bring them up at meetings. Is if 10 people go in there right now and comment on this bug, that will get somebody's attention. And they might not do anything about it, but at least people will notice. If you haven't ever been to Bugzilla, one of the most useful things I find on Bugzilla is on the front page, underneath the big search box where it says quick search. There's links that say bugs reported in the last 24 hours / last 7 days, and then bugs changed in the last 24 hours / last 7 days. And the bugs, you know, once a week, I try to go in and just look at what's changed and what's new in the last 7 days. And if there's something there that I completely don't understand, I just ignore it. But the things that I understand, I will go in there and I will look at them and I will try to figure out what they mean. And if I think I have something to say about it, I just, you know, I can do something as simple as add myself to the CC list so that I'll get emails when that bug is updated. Or if I have something that I think is relevant to say about a bug, I say it. And that keeps it's a good way to keep track of what's happening on Bugzilla, is just what's bugs reported and bugs changed.
So the voting feature specifically seems to be missing. I don't know if it got turned off on purpose. I know that when we were walking through stuff at KohaCon, we noticed it wasn't there, and I still don't see it. So I don't know what happened to the voting, but I would say that adding comments is the next best thing you can do. Because that emails everybody that's CC'd and associated with the bug, so it brings it back to the top of their inbox.
I will definitely log in and see if I can see my voting. And yeah, if I can't, I'll bring it up on Mattermost for sure. I'll add too that a lot of CCs also tell the developers there's a lot of interest in this. Fred.
This may have come up when I was at helping somebody scan something, but did you discuss Z3950 and the idea of downloading the record with the most holdings?
Briefly, yeah, and up in the chat, we talked about the system preference, additional fields in Z3950 result search, and mentioned bug 23887.
Okay. I was going to throw another monkey wrench into the idea. Would it be possible, if you're pulling from OCLC, to specifically look for records marked DLC or NLM or PCC?
I know that I do that in my connection client. I haven't tried doing that via Z3950. It may be possible.
I think it would make things easier.
Is there the option just to Z3950 over to DLC or Z3950 over to NLM? National Library of Medicine and Library of Congress, by the way, for those unfamiliar with the acronyms.
Yes, it is. Though, if you're trying with Mark Edit and using the batch for LC, gives you one or two and then just rejects everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Library of Congress. Yeah, they can't handle lots of batches in one time, though. Yeah.
NLM can. Just nice.
In Koha, what I believe it is possible to do is you can tell it which fields, you can add fields to the Z3950 results. That's a system preference, I believe. So what you could do is tell your system preference that you want the fields that are going to say DLC or NLM to be visible. And then you could add some jQuery that would highlight the records that have those elements in them to make them stand out more on the Z3950 results. But I can't think of a way to just limit to do a filter like that. So.
Does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring to the group?
Not really anything new, but I just wanted to reiterate again, I'm leaving my email address in the chat. If anybody is interested in talking with Baker and Taylor about creating an authority file upgrade program, if you'd like to come with me to a meeting or if you want to discuss it, it can be reached at that email address in the chat. Thank you.
You think that might be something Bywater would be interested in doing?
No harm in asking.
Or Equinox or Bibli or...
Worst they can say is no, right?
Exactly. And just to get it into the recording, Charlie's email is carthur@slolibrary.org. And the chat's usually also posted below the video. Perhaps also bring up in the Koha Mattermost chat to get some attention there. Anything else anyone would like to bring to the group or mention about cataloging, Koha in general? Someone put into the chat, bug for FastAdd permission restriction with upgrade is 38076. Librarians with only FastAdd permission can no longer edit or create FastAdd records. Great to get that in.
That does really seem like a regression.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing a couple of bugs related to the update. We had ours the day before yesterday, and our built-in holds queue, for example, has disappeared. And so we're trying to get them to fix that again because a lot of libraries are like, what happened? So there's that, and there's also some issues that are popping up. Off the top of my head, I don't know, but that one, the holds queue is the biggest issue. So I would look through everything, guys, because the upgrade kind of broke some things.
No upgrade is perfect. We have to be thorough.
Just another one mention about the upgrade is that it's not a problem, but there's different language at check-in, and it's confusing all of the staff when it's like it says not checked out, check-in, not checked in, like whatever it says, but it says it on various screens. And we had like 10 different reports from various parts of Koha. It's like, what is this? Did my check-in not work? So it the language is confusing, but the processes still work.
Yeah, it says check-in, but in the bottom in red, it'll say item not checked in. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, we were seeing that too. It's very little, but like staff will catch it and be like, what's going on? Did I break something? So of course, like got a bunch of tickets yesterday.
We saw that too, and we were an early adopter, so we've had it for a couple of months now. Yeah, and I'm sure there's a bug about it. I'm going to try to search for it. But yeah, that was annoying.
Yeah, we library staff who are detail oriented can often be easily freaked out. So,
yeah.
Well, thank you for mentioning.
Put a label on the monitor. If it says this, don't worry about it. Sort of like on my van, lights will come on, warning lights. Don't worry, it's okay.
Don't panic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for mentioning that, though. I'll check out something to myself and check it in. We have very low circulation because we're a museum library. We're primarily on-site reference, but I don't want my staff freaked out when they do check something out.
Oh, it does check in. The message is just wrong, but it does check in.
Here I am trying to look at the problem, and I'm looking at the wrong server. I'm looking at my production server, not my test server. So of course everything's fine.
Well, that's good news that everything's fine with your production server. Anything else people have to bring to the group? Well, we can always end the meeting early.
Well, I wish I had something to bring to the group because this is such a fun group. But can't think of anything.
We'll be here again first Thursday of every month in the morning. I'll go ahead and end the recording then.